Hey, good afternoon. This is Don Gertz. I was going through some old papers the other day, and I found this list that my dad wrote down a number of years ago. It's got 40 items, and the reason he wrote it was because to help his realtors um, do things, or get back on track when things weren't going well or when things were slow. And real estate can be it's cyclical. So certain things, always. Um, uh, market slows down, or we get into different states of mind, and different things. But I think what I was thinking, it made me think about, the way we do our real estate these days in comparison to the way we used to do it, back when I started, and then even more so when Dad started. And so I started looking at what the list entailed, and I thought, technology has changed us an awful lot. We're hearing these days, that you see these different advertising saying that you need to figure out how to do Claude Code. You need to figure out how to use AI. You need to, there's these different new models of the real estate office, and different ways of, government legislation is changing things for us. There's an awful lot that's changed, in our business, and made things a lot different for us. But one thing that hasn't changed, and I was reminded of that, from Dad's list, is that this is still a people business. We still deal with people one on one. Technology and uh, helps us to do different things in different ways. I love technology. I use it all the time. I have my AI agent. I use Gemini. I don't use Claude. I made a choice to go with the Google workspace, and I'm happy with that. And I can, so I'm learning how to apply those different things to my business. And I think that everybody should do that. But I think one of the things we got to remember is that it's real estate is still people. It's still about people. It's not machines that live in the houses. It's people that live in the homes. So we have to recognize that when my dad says start a community newsletter, that's a good thing to do. Start a community newsletter because it's all about the people. It's all about living in community. Or rewrite your ads. The thing is today, we might just quickly go on Chat GPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever your favorite AI is, and ask it to write the ads. But does that ad really say how the person's going to feel when they're moving into the property? So maybe we should take a look at something different. I think some of the other ideas, on here are really interesting to look at and say, okay, how did we used to do business back in 1984 when I started, or back in 1965 when Dad started, but um, here's things, call a FSBO, FISBO, we call them FISBOs, for sale by owners, or study a videotape, talking about videotapes. We don't have videotapes anymore. We go on to YouTube. So, there's certain things you could do to enhance your career just by using the technology to learn how to get better. And that's one of the things that I've tried to do when I developed my Nova Pulse agent method, and that was to recognize that it's about people. We have to learn how do we act, differently with different people, because we're all different. Like my wife is very outgoing, and she loves to she has to be with people. Well, I'm not that way so much. I'm happy to be, somewhat by myself sometimes. But her response to circumstances is very different from my response to the same circumstances. So I think it's the same thing when we're dealing with our clients, and whoever we're working with. We got to recognize that they're not wired the same way you are. They're not wired the same way I am. I have to be able to identify how they're wired, what's their personality style, and then adapt to that style myself so that I can offer them better support and better help in the services that I offer to them. So it's just some thoughts that I had, about how we do business today and how we, did business back in the old days, if I want to call them the old days. I don't. It's just gone by so fast, but everything is changing quickly. But the one thing that doesn't change is that we're dealing with people. We have to do the activities to be successful, but we might do those activities different, and those activities need to enhance our relationships with other people. So don't forget the people. It's not all about the technology. It's not all about social media. It's not all about having that cool activity. That's why I'm doing this impromptu video, I guess. I might do a little editing on it at the beginning because I was stumbling over my words, but I want it to be that we need to be genuine. It's not all polish, and don't be afraid to be you. Um, you're your best secret weapon, and people will deal with you because you're there and you're genuine and you're original. So have a great day and enjoy it. Bye.